Welcome to Cost Saver Conversations. I'm Angela, and I ask the practical questions so you can quickly understand what matters. Today, I'm joined by Assad.
Hi, Angela. We're unpacking avoiding hidden fees, how to choose the cheapest courier service in the UK today, and tying it back to the wider cost saver ecosystem, including tools like UK Delivery Cost Checker, so you can turn insights into action quickly.
Just a heads up before we dive in, we are your synthetic hosts. We are great with numbers, but as AI, we can sometimes be confidently wrong. Think of us as the digital versions of your most knowledgeable, slightly caffeinated friends.
Exactly. Treat this chat as a smart estimate only, not as professional financial guidance. Always check important details with official sources or a qualified expert before making any big decisions.
So, Assad, we're diving into courier services today, and honestly, I've been stung a few times myself. You see a price online, you think, "Great, bargain." And then by the time you actually hit confirm,
Oh, you are not alone. It's probably the most common complaint I hear. That headline price, it's almost never the final cost. We're talking fuel surcharges, remote area fees, all these little bits that can quietly add 20 to 40% to your bill.
wait, 20 to 40%?
Yeah.
That's huge. So you might think you're paying a fiver and it ends up being what, closer to a tenner?
Or more. It can be anywhere from about 3 quid up to 15 quid extra per parcel. And the UK parcel market is massive, right? Worth around 14.5 billion pounds, shipping something like 3.6 billion parcels a year. So there's this fierce competition on the headline rate, but that just means the margins get recovered somewhere else.
Right. So they're all fighting to look cheapest at first glance, but then they have to make the money back somehow.
Exactly. And that somehow is usually in the small print because the price you actually pay depends on, a dozen variables. Where it's going, how heavy, how big, is it residential, is it a Saturday? If you miss any of those, you get an adjustment invoice, sometimes a fortnight later for an extra 4 to 20 quid per parcel.
The adjustment invoice. I've had those land in my inbox, and it's just so annoying.
Yeah, nobody enjoys those.
So, what's the biggest culprit? Like, what catches people out the most?
Honestly, by far, the single biggest source of surprise invoices is volumetric weight charges. It's a bit of a tricky concept if you haven't come across it before.
Volumetric weight. Is that like how much space the parcel takes up in the van?
That's exactly it. So a big, light box of pillows takes up the same van space as a small, heavy box of, I don't know, bricks. So couriers charge by whichever is greater, the actual weight or this calculated volumetric weight. And the formula is length times width times height in centimeters divided by 5,000, gives you a figure in kilograms. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. So, if I've got a box that's, say, 60 by 40 by 40 centimeters.
Right. So that comes out at 19.2 kilograms volumetrically. Even if the thing only weighs 3 kilos because it's full of cushions, you'll be charged for the 19.2 kilos, which means you're looking at maybe 12 to 18 quid instead of the 5 to 7 you expected.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, there's actually a really good example in the source material. Sarah from Leeds, she runs a small Etsy shop selling handmade cushions. She booked DPD next day at 650, thought she'd got a bargain. The cushions weighed 800 grams, but the box was 50 by 40 by 30 centimeters. That's a volumetric weight of 12 kilos. 2 weeks later, adjustment invoice, 1140,
So, her actual cost was.
1790, not 650.
That's nearly 3 times what she thought she was paying.
Right. And this is the thing. People measure the product, not the outer box. They forget about bubble wrap, padding, all of that. And if you're shipping soft or bulky goods like clothing or insulation, volumetric weight will almost always be higher than actual weight. You can lose 30 to 50% of your margin to dimensional charges if you're not careful.
So, the fix is basically make the box as small and dense as possible.
Yeah, and always round up when you measure. Couriers don't round down. A single centimeter over a band can shift you into a higher price tier, costing an extra 2 to 6 quid. So measure twice with the box sealed and labeled.
Got it. Okay, what else should we be watching out for?
Fuel surcharges. This one's kind of sneaky because it's almost invisible sometimes. Almost every major UK courier, DPD, DHL, UPS, FedEx, Parcel Force, they add a weekly or monthly fuel surcharge on top of the base rate. Usually sits between 8 and 18% depending on diesel prices.
And is that shown up front when you get a quote?
Not always, no. That's the problem. You see the headline rate, you book it, and then the surcharge appears either at checkout or, even more annoyingly, on a separate line on your monthly statement. Royal Mail's a bit different, though. They tend to absorb it internally, which is why their quotes can look more stable.
I hadn't thought about it like that. What about sending to the Scottish Highlands or somewhere more remote?
Ah, yeah, remote area surcharges. So if you're shipping to or from the Scottish Highlands and Islands, Northern Ireland, Isle of Wight, Isle of Man, Channel Islands, basically any postcode flagged as out of area, expect a surcharge of anywhere from 3 quid to 25 quid per parcel.
25 quid just for geography.
I know, right? And some couriers won't even deliver to certain postcodes at all. Others quietly route parcels through network partners, which adds 2 or 3 days to transit without really telling you. Postcodes starting with IV, KW, HS, BT for Northern Ireland, IM for Isle of Man, there's a whole list of them.
So if you're a business selling to customers across the whole UK, you really need to know this stuff.
Absolutely. And Royal Mail is actually often the best bet for remote areas because their standard services cover most UK addresses at no extra charge. Every and Yodel tend to apply the highest surcharges for those zones.
Okay, what about this one annoys me? When no one's home and the parcel just bounces?
Failed delivery fees. Yeah, so most couriers will attempt redelivery once or twice for free. After that, you could be charged 2 to 8 quid per additional attempt. Or the parcel gets returned to sender, and that return fee can be roughly equal to the outbound cost, so you've effectively doubled your shipping bill on one failed parcel.
That's just a lot.
It really is. And for a small business, this can quietly become their single biggest controllable expense. The tip here is always offer the recipient a delivery window and a safe place option at checkout. It takes one extra field and it cuts failed deliveries by around 60%.
60%? That's a really practical tip.
Yeah, it's one of those things where a tiny change makes a huge difference.
Are there other premiums people forget about, like timed deliveries?
Oh yeah, so standard next day usually means next working day by end of day. If you need it there by 9 a.m. or 10:30 or noon or on a Saturday, you're looking at 50 to 200% more. Sunday delivery, where it's even offered, can be 3 times the standard rate.
Wow. And I'm guessing there's something about getting the address wrong, too.
Yep, address correction fees. Get a postcode slightly wrong, miss a flat number, use an old address, you can be charged 5 to 12 quid. And this applies even if the courier successfully delivers. The fee is just for the manual intervention of figuring out where it should actually go.
Fair enough, from their perspective, I suppose. But still. Okay, so knowing all of this, how do we actually navigate it? Like, what's the process for getting a realistic quote?
Right, so I've sort of got a step-by-step thing in my head. First step, before you even look at quotes, seal and label the parcel exactly as it will ship. Weigh it on proper scales, calibrated kitchen or parcel scales, round up to the nearest 100 grams. Measure each side to the nearest centimeter, rounding up.
And then do the volumetric calculation?
Exactly. L times W times H divided by 5,000. Note whichever weight is higher, actual or volumetric, because that's what you'll be charged on. Then step 2 is to be really honest about what you actually need. Does it genuinely need to be next day, or would 2 to 3 days be fine? Do you need a signature, or is a safe place acceptable? Does it need insurance beyond the standard 20 to 50 quid included cover?
Don't just tick everything just in case.
Right. For most low-value items, standard tracked is almost always sufficient. Then step 3. Use a comparison tool to pull quotes from several couriers at once. But, and this is the crucial bit, make sure those quotes include fuel surcharge and VAT. Compare the all-in totals, not the headline figures.
I always forget about VAT, and then it's a surprise at the end.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many people do. Also, and this is one people really overlook, check the prohibited and restricted items list before you book. If you send a prohibited item and it gets discovered in transit, the parcel can be destroyed, no refund, and you might get billed for disposal.
Wait, really? What kind of things are we talking about?
Aerosols, perfume, batteries, especially lithium ones, nail varnish, alcohol over a certain ABV, anything pressurized. It catches people out more than you think.
Good to know. Any other tricks for keeping costs down?
Drop-off. This is a big one. Drop-off services, where you take the parcel to a local shop or locker, are consistently 15 to 35% cheaper than collection services. Every, InPost, Royal Mail, DPD, they all have pretty extensive drop-off networks now. If you can drop it off on your way to work, honestly, just do it.
That's a significant saving. I always choose collection just for convenience, but maybe I should rethink that.
Yeah, it adds up fast, especially if you're sending regularly.
So what about, I was going to say, actually, for people running a small business, is the advice any different?
It shifts quite a bit, actually. The cheapest per parcel price stops being the only thing that matters. You start caring about things like claim success rates. Some couriers reject 40% or more of damage claims. API integration, label printing workflows, how easy returns are to handle. A courier that's 30p cheaper per parcel but loses 1 in 200 that you can't claim for will cost you way more overall.
Oh, that's actually really important. It's the total cost of headaches, not just the shipping label.
Exactly. And here's the thing. If you're shipping more than 20 parcels a week, contact 2 or 3 couriers directly and ask for an account quote. Mention you're comparing offers. Discounts of 30 to 50% off published rates are totally normal. You don't need huge volumes, and most account managers will respond within 48 hours.
30 to 50% off? That's massive. Do people not know about this?
A lot of people assume you need to be shipping thousands to get a deal. You really don't. 20 parcels a week is enough to start the conversation.
Okay, before we wrap up, what are the common mistakes you see people making? The ones that just keep costing them money over and over?
Oh, there's a few. Booking the cheapest economy service for a fragile item. Economy services typically have stricter compensation limits and rougher handling. The 2 quid you saved becomes 40 quid lost on a damage claim. Ignoring the maximum cover is another one. Standard cover is often just 20 quid. For anything more valuable, you need to declare a value and pay an insurance uplift, usually 1 to 3% of the declared value.
Go on.
Using old packaging with old labels. Courier scanners pick up old barcodes and can misroute the parcel. Always remove or cover previous labels. And, this is a big one, not photographing the parcel before dispatch. If you need to make a damage claim later, photos of the packed parcel, the box, the tape, the wrapping, it significantly increases your chance of success.
That's smart. I never think to do that.
Also, choosing a courier based on brand recognition alone. Every and Yodel are often 30 to 40% cheaper than DPD or DHL for standard parcels, and their tracked services are broadly comparable for non-urgent, non-fragile items. People just sort of default to the name they know.
Yeah, I'm probably guilty of that.
Most people are. Oh, and one more. Assuming tracked means guaranteed. Tracking is information, not insurance. A tracked parcel that disappears between scans is still a lost parcel, and you still need to claim.
Ooh, I didn't realize that. That's a really important distinction. Okay, so let's give people a quick recap they can actually take away from this. What are the essentials?
All right, so measure and weigh your parcel accurately with the box sealed. Calculate the volumetric weight using length times width times height divided by 5,000, and note whichever weight is higher. Be realistic about the service you actually need. Don't pay for next day if 3 days is fine. Use a comparison tool to get all-inclusive quotes. Make sure they show fuel surcharge and VAT. Use drop-off instead of collection, it's 15 to 35% cheaper. And photograph everything before you send it.
And for businesses?
Once you're past 20 parcels a week, pick up the phone. Get account quotes from 2 or 3 couriers, mention you're comparing, and expect 30 to 50% off published rates. It's easier than most people think. Have I explained that clearly? I feel like I've thrown a lot of numbers at you.
No, that was really clear. The headline number is almost never the real number, and now we know where to look. Assad, thank you so much.
My pleasure, Angela.
Quick side note, this guide connects with other cost-saver blogs, especially council tax bans can quietly cost you hundreds a year, the energy efficiency regulations, and realistic wedding budget breakdown.
Exactly. And reading those together helps you connect the dots across your household budget, not just this one topic in isolation.
And if you want to apply this immediately, jump into tools like UK Delivery Cost Checker right after this episode.
Primary sources used here include Ofcom UK Postal Market Report and Royal Mail Size and Weight Guide, so you can verify the data yourself and stay evidence-led.
That wraps this cost-saver conversation with Angela and Assad. If this helped, share it with someone who could put these ideas to work this week.
Your next step is simple. Try UK Delivery Cost Checker. Then read Council Tax Bans Can Quietly Cost You Hundreds a Year and use them together to take action today.